Welcome back to the Triple Crown Wargaming studio, where you join myself, James the Lawmaster Lamin, and my two partners in crime, Scott the Duke McHugh.
Hello.
And Max the Chieftain Hurley, for another exciting episode of This Month in Warhammer. Now, if you've not seen it before, this is our monthly update on all of the kind of Warhammery things we're doing in the Triple Crown studio. And you're going to get our usual mix of roundtable discussions about different aspects of the hobby. Everything from very serious to very silly.
Why am I silly?
No, I'm probably silliest. As ever, we'll have a look at new releases before we'll move on to the month in our hobby. We'll have a look at what's been going on social media, the Warhammer news, as I like to call it. And then this month we're going to have a chat about the Derby Deathmatch 2022 event, which will be running in July, because the pack's going to come out quite soon after we release this video.
Yes.
I love that everyone does the thing where they look up and work out the days. So we thought this was a good chance to have a chat about it. And then we'll finish off by telling you what you can expect to find on our website and YouTube in the next 4 weeks. So lots to get through.
Yes.
And we're going to start by checking out some new releases, of which there is nothing new to discuss.
Hey!
Well, that was a short section.
Yeah, it was. So after a mammoth month of releases last month, which was sort of, my cheat sheet was a whole page longer last month because it had all these releases on it. We haven't got any to share with you, so what we're going to do is shamelessly plug ourselves instead, because we can do that for 5 minutes. So you may notice we're not wearing our usual Triple Crown attire. We are in fact wearing a selection of shirts that are available in the store on our website. So we thought we'd start by having a chat about some of that. So we've got 6 different shirt designs you can grab to show your Warhammer appreciation. From the iconic "You Love to See It" to
the Triple Crown.
The Triple Crown.
The 3 dice.
To eat, sleep, diamond shape, repeat.
You are such an idiot.
No,
This is why you were the silly one.
eat, sleep, base, repeat.
That is correct. Square base as well. And there's 3 others on there too. There's a classic Triple Crown logo with a big crown.
Yeah.
There's also Move Magic Shoot Combat, which I really like, but couldn't find my Move Magic Shoot Combat shirt this morning, which has got kind of blocks for the faces on it. And then we've got another one with the diamond shape, as Max calls it, which is our front, flank, rear, with the iconic facings of Warhammer. So all of the shirts are available from small to double extra large. They're all black. Some have white prints, some have gold prints. In the Triple Crowny way. And they're all £12.50 each. So you're not breaking the bank either. So if you want something cool to wear for your next event, you can head over for that. But wait, there's more. We also have 2 hoodies as well. Now, the 2 designs we've gone for there are the Triple Crown Dice logo that Scott's wearing, and the one that I was going to wear but couldn't find, which was Move Magic Shoot and Combat. I imagine it's in the wash. As I said, and on the backs of those you can pick out a custom kind of nickname or something to have on the back as your name for when you go to events. So your mates can spot you from across the hall. I like to think that's why we do it. And
mainly so we can avoid each other.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time together. We don't want to spend even more time together.
So these run again from small to double extra large, and they're $25, the hoodies. And then the sort of final 2 items that you'll find in our store, other than event tickets when we put them up,
on sale,
is our Triple Crown dice, which we use in all of our battle reports. Now you get 10 for £12. Got that the wrong way around. Or you can get 20 for £20. So most people just buy 20. I can't remember the last time we sold 10 actually. And sitting propped on the arm, fresh from all of our battle reports, this is a well-worn dice bag, is the dice bags that we sell as well.
Dean the dice bag.
Okay. Which have got the little Triple Crown logo on to put all of your lovely Triple Crown dice in, and they are £5 each. Now, that's not the only way you can get a dice bag, is it, Scott?
It is not.
I'm just looking at a dice bag over there. I can't be trusted, basically. But that's not the only way you can get a dice bag, is it, Scott?
It is not, no. So we have our subscriptions as well on the website. So you can sign up as a knight errant, which is totally free. Why are you not doing it?
I haven't already done it.
Yeah, you get all the videos that are on YouTube, plus a couple of extra tales, or articles as they are, I think. Both of them are articles. And you can also then upgrade that to become a Knight of the Realm. So there are 2 options for you. You can pay monthly, which is £3.50 a month.
Bargain.
Yeah.
That's a cup of coffee.
It is, yeah.
And as a man who drinks too much coffee, I would still trade 1 cup of coffee
A
to
month.
see us be idiots a month. Yeah,
Giving up the
100%.
addiction.
Yeah.
Giving up the
So it's
addiction.
one a month, mate. It's hardly breaking the ground, is it?
I don't know. I've seen your coffee.
Not even touching the sides, mate.
I've seen your coffee consumption sometimes.
But yeah, with a Night of the Realm, you get essentially double the number of videos a month. The Night Errant.
If
It's
that.
way more than that.
It's about 4 times.
Oh yeah, so
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 3
you get
times.
double the number of sort of
Battle
feature
reports.
length
Yeah,
videos.
feature
So
length
you
videos,
get 2
yeah.
battle reports, not 1. You also get the deep dives as well as obviously the This Month in Warhammer, which you're watching now. You also get the weekly snippets. So every Thursday, you get one of each 4 per month or per sort of 4-week cycle. So that's the 20 Tactics, Buying for Beginners, Competitive Character, and someone help me with the other one.
Magic and
Mundane.
Magic and
Mundane.
Mundane. There we go.
Oh, I can't believe you missed it. It's like my favourite to write puns about.
And you also get, on top of that, a tale every Tuesday. So one of those every 4 weeks will be a Warzone tale, which will be a sort of classic, really important Warhammer battle that we discuss, and then we give you some sort of sample army list so you can recreate the battles at home. And then another one every month will be a hero of legend. So these will be a real sort of infamous character from the Warhammer background, and we sort of dive into their backstory. And you also get 2 sort of more random, as it were, randomly generated tales.
RNG towers.
The RNG towers.
which might be about a rule. They might be about a new kit. So we have that kit chat, which we do sometimes. Or it might just be some units we like, things like that. It's a wide range of
Again,
topics, really.
there's some tactic stuff that gets slipped
Yeah,
into
there are a
there.
few.
There's army list build stuff that we
Yeah.
do on there. So really, that's one where we get lots of emails and stuff, and people will be like, "Oh, could you talk about like what do you think about like devastating charge?" And we're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, actually, that's interesting. We'll have a chat about that." And then rather than just us chatting nonsense about it
Yeah.
and you guys never hearing it, we'll talk it out with you guys.
Yeah, and they're great to sort of put on in the background while you're doing some painting or something. And it's sort of 20 to 30 minutes long, generally, is how long they
yeah,
sort of
they
last for.
actually sort of do get there, don't they?
Yeah.
You don't think they're going to, but then you're like, wow, yeah, that was a while.
But yeah, you get all of that for a Night of the Realm. Now, that was the sort of, so as I said, you can pay monthly, but you can also buy an annual subscription. So this is £35 for the year, so you save effectively 2 months worth on the subscription, and you also get a free dice bag with an exclusive print, depending on the sort of year that you bought it in, or that you sort of bought your subscription
So
in.
2021 ones will run till April, because that's when we launched.
Yep.
And then 2022 ones will start,
Yes.
I guess. Or something else might start, we might do something different. We haven't actually decided on the logo for next year.
But so the 2021 one is a sort of a filled-in gold crown with 2021 in it. Possibly will be the same for 2022. As we said, we haven't decided.
Yeah, we
yet.
haven't decided yet.
But it's an
But you'll
exclusive.
still get something.
You will. It's an exclusive print that you can't sort of get any other way. And if you keep that subscription for 2 or however many years, you get a new dice bag every year.
So, yeah. Why would you not?
Why would you not?
That gives you a whole year to wear this one out.
Yeah. And then it gives you an excuse to buy the dice to fill the dice cube up.
It does.
The dice bag up.
No, that's cute.
And it does hold. Our dice are not small. They're 16
16 mils, yeah.
But the bags will hold comfortably sort of 40, 50 dice.
This has got 50 in it.
Yeah.
Now, and you can see, like, I'm able to
Still scrunchy.
get a bunch. I probably can't really see this at home, but I've got a bunch on the top.
Get a
There's,
handful.
there's plenty in there. I think that I managed to get 60 odd in there at one point, but it was to the brim.
Yeah. But it'll comfortably fit sort of 40 or 50 in.
Oh, no problem
Yeah.
at all, yeah. So that's it. We've shamelessly plugged ourselves.
The shameless plug.
You can get your subscription now for $3.50 a month, or you can go in and get your free dice bag and 2 months off as well.
Yeah.
Don't know why you wouldn't. There's hundreds, well over 100
Yeah.
videos on the website that you can
Now there is, yeah.
that you can peruse through. There's bucket loads of content on
Yeah.
there, and we had 12 videos a month effectively, and 10 of those are only available to subscribers. So
Yeah.
that's wild. So there's plenty going on there, and you can get your merch to go with it as well. Don't know why you wouldn't get your merch. I like these shirts; they're comfortable. and as such, I think from the shameless plug of our released products, we will move on to have a chat about the month in the hobby. And I think we'll start with you, Mr. Chieftain. What's
Chieftain.
Mr. Chieftain today?
That's my father.
Please call me Max. Mr. Chieftain's my father.
I've been painting orcs. So many orcs.
Yeah, you have, haven't you?
So many savage orcs. I'm really tired of orcs. I'm tired of green.
You've got a lot more orcs than goblins.
You've
to go.
got a lot of
I'm
orcs
so
to paint.
tired of green. Oh yeah, but I got a unit. I think pretty much the entire unit of like savage orcs done. I think I've got 30 of them done at this point. There's like 10 left. I've got 10 left double hand weapons. And I've got 40 with bows and hand weapons as well to paint. Yeah, all those Savage Orcs. That's what I've been doing. It hasn't been much really. I haven't bought anything as far as I'm remembering.
Really?
Considering
You've got a whole month?
Yeah, a whole month. I mean, Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas was not a productive period for my purchasing hobby.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Was it?
No.
That's a really good point. I don't know, we were just stunned. We have a lot to say. I'm really disappointed.
There's things in the basket that I want to buy.
I've added some things to it.
There are things in the basket, but it's also consideration of like what else I want to, how I want to continue my year of this hobby.
I know you're in a flip the coin at the moment,
Yeah,
aren't you?
it's a complete flip the coin. It's either white, it's either orcs, or it's going to be something far special that no one ever sees often in a.
Well,
fantasy.
we'll have done the. Because I think you're going to ask.
Oh,
me,
yeah, we
aren't
are
you?
going to ask
So
you.
you're but again, we haven't done it yet, but we'll have done it by the time you see this.
Yeah, so
we have this fun.
it's the flip the coins between orcs and goblins and chaos dwarfs.
I'm hashtag Team Chaos Dwarf. I really am.
Hashtag Team Dowies are.
Yeah, I am.
Skull, where's the camp life of Skull?
Well, I think Chaos Dwarfs.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I like Chaos Dwarfs, but the
we'll see
community
what-
will decide.
yeah.
At this point in time, I don't know what the community has decided for. How they have judged my
It would
fate.
have been decided by now.
Yeah.
It would have been decided, but I don't.
We don't know what they
But none of us know.
How you guys decide my fate is yet to be revealed to
It
me.
is.
Time travel.
But yeah, so I painted a load of Savage Orcs. They look quite nice. I'm happy how they turned out. And then it's going to be a deciding of how to build and paint my Chaos Dwarfs. So maybe, I don't know. or more Savage Orcs if people
or more orcs.
if more people want me to
I've
paint
got
more
a
green.
fever, and the only prescription is
all
more
flesh.
orcs and goblins.
It's all flesh contrast paint.
That is correct.
It's apart from that, it's not been much booked up for myself.
I thought you'd done more this month. I really did.
No, I
I
mean,
think I speak for us all when I say we're a bit disappointed.
Disappointed you haven't bought a new army, to be honest.
hold tight. New year, new me.
Seeing
New year, new you,
seeing
new army.
through the Chaos Dwarf deep dive with Max, and he's just like, "This is true. I really want to do some
I
work on
really
these
want to
guys."
play my Chaos Dwarfs.
So yeah, what about yourself, Scott? What have you been working on?
So, vampires. I know I said in the last this month in Warhammer,
Vampires.
my hobby goal for 2022 would be 5,000 points of Empire. That's not been started.
So you're playing vampires.
Just open that window for me, just for 1 second.
Yeah.
I play
honestly, probably 2 days after we filmed that this month in Warhammer, I decided I needed 2,000 points of vampires for an event that I haven't got built or painted.
Look,
So
I'm going to take a small portion
you can take 80%
of the
blame.
responsibility. And I
80%
mean,
of the
like,
blame.
this is like tiny stuff I'm taking.
80%.
From what I've gathered of this, it was a car journey back from Nottingham that decided Scott's fate.
It was, yeah.
So we went up and we did I was going to talk about it later, but we might as well talk about it now.
Yeah.
We went up and we had an awesome day for the Warhammer World Invasion. We met some really cool people.
We did.
In person. That some of them we've met before, some of them I'd never met. That was amazing for me. I think some of them you'd met more people than me, you know what I mean? So that was
we
cool.
bumped into Rob down there, or up there.
Yeah.
For us.
And we had a really great day out. It was just me and
Yeah.
you because it was only the cool kids that were invited.
Yeah.
So
The adults had to work.
I got a day off. I got a thank you day from my work.
did you?
I did, yeah.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
I'm my own boss, so I just decided to give myself a day off. It was lovely. So we went up and we had some really cool games. I managed to have a really tight game with some Skaven myself, and I got a really cool game against an Orcs and Goblins army with using my Widows, which is fun.
Which you haven't used for a while.
No,
Because
no.
Max has been using them.
Ages.
Awfully.
Yeah, ages.
Yeah, not great.
And you played Skaven as well, didn't you?
I did. I played Skaven and Orcs and Goblins as well.
We literally swapped over.
opponents.
Yeah, that was a good point.
And I took my vampires. So I took, in the first game, it was 3,000 point game, which is the sort of size of games for this event that we're heading to in April. Start of April. So I took a list that was similar. It wasn't quite exactly what I was planning to take. But it was very similar because I didn't have the models yet. I didn't have all the models. So I made a few changes, but it was generally the gist of it was the list I was going to take. It was sort of standard Vampire Blender Lord. Kemmler in there as well. She can fit him in with him in 3,000 points.
Yeah.
Had Krell just for the comp mainly. And then the rest of it was relatively standard. Had 5 Hex Wraiths, a couple of units of Crypt Horrors, a couple of Terror Guys, things like that. It went okay against the Skaven until turn 6, and then my remaining, I think it was like 12 skeletons, my Vampire Lord and Kemmler got a dreaded 13th.
Yeah. Got turned into a rat.
They did, yeah, they killed the whole unit. Like 14 clan rats appeared. which obviously killed loads of points there, crumbled the Terrorgeist, crumbled loads of stuff. So I was like, well, that went well. Up to then, it was really tight.
Yeah.
And then, played against Orcs and Goblins, and that was a 2,500 point game, so I had to sort of drop a few things from the list, went with a more traditional vampire list, sort of Blender Lord, Master Necro, a couple of Terrorgeist, that sort of thing. Had a really good game against Luke, which went pretty well for me. The Ethereal really sort of screws.
Yes, they're so good.
Like Manga Squigs,
against Orcs and Goblins.
Fanatics, things like that. Yeah, it really helped. But on the way back, we were discussing in the car a very, very different style of list for vampires.
Yeah.
For sort of 3k. We tried to make it work at 2.5k, and you just didn't really have the points.
No.
But we upped it to 3, and then it was like, actually, I should possibly take this to Honfa.
This list is wild.
It is wild.
I don't want to give too much of it away, but it is.
There's still special character in there.
It is wild.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a real surprise for people.
Yeah, there's lots for me to build.
Lots for you to do as well.
Buy.
There's a lot of hard work on the tabletop as well.
There's not a single slot that I've got everything for, bar heroes. That's the only thing that I've got everything for at the moment.
Well, that's
is heroes. Not even core.
So why are you bleating? All your heroes done.
All my 2 heroes. All my 2 Necromancer heroes.
Whoa! Giving it away!
I mean, come on, if the vampire can's not bringing necro heroes, then what's it doing? Bring vampire heroes, that's what it's doing.
Yeah, I don't really take necro heroes too often, actually. I tend to take the wraithy stuff.
Yeah.
The ethereal stuff, yeah?
Yes, it's good.
But yeah, so I've got lots. I've basically been buying and building and a little bit of painting. For
I imagine a lot of it's going to start to appear on the social media side of our stuff, though.
Yeah, so I've got 5
some
hex
Hex up, didn't you?
built and painted. Yeah, so I got them.
Spoilers. There's hex rates.
Yes, hex rates. Because I have in my sort of Bretonian themed vampire army, I have sort of converted questing knights / Empire Greatswords. They're sort of mushed together with bits of fire on that I used as hex wraiths, which I painted. But because this isn't going to be sort of very Bretonian themed, I wanted the sort of actual hex wraith models. So I've got 5 of them built and painted now, with more of them to come. I've got some dire wolves that I built a little while ago, finished building, still need to paint them. Yeah, I've got a unit filler for my skeletons to paint, and then they'll be done. More dire wolves to build and paint, which I'll be using the Fenrisian wolves for, from 40k.
Mix and match.
Yeah, just sort of blend
cool.
them in. Vargeist.
All the Vars.
All the Vars.
All vampiric.
Yeah, lots of vampiric.
Lots of vampiric.
Yeah, lots of
This is
vampiric.
why I like this. I don't like to see this. It's more vampires. Why do you need more? Doesn't need to be more.
I'm very
vampires.
jealous that you're doing it. It's a list I would be like, yeah, no, I've got this. I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'd enjoy this. This would be.
And I did
tricky fun.
say vampires were going to be my tournament army this year. So, despite saying I'd paint 5,000 points of Empire, so I might have to sort of rejig that to 3,000 points of Empire and the 2,000 points of vampires I need for this event.
That's 5,000 points in total.
5,000 points in total.
It's still a good score
But it's
for
not
you.
Empire.
But it's not.
It's not all
but
Empire.
it will be 3,000 points of Empire, hopefully, by the end of the year. That's a very sort of clutching at straws, hopefully.
That's a big one.
Because if I get all this painted by April, there's honestly going to be nothing that I need to paint for any event this year for vampires. For any other event we go
not,
to.
'cause most of your
I'll
stuff's
have,
done, innit?
yeah, a lot of my stuff's done already.
You start painting my stuff.
No.
Here's a box of Orcs and Goblins.
Don't want to help a brother out.
No, I've got Empire to paint, thanks. So yeah, it's been a reasonably productive month. I'm hoping,
Yeah.
I've got a lot of stuff on order, so hopefully when that comes I'll be able to sort of bang out all the building and then spray it all and...
Is that very
get
much
it
the
all
plan
painted.
for the next 4 weeks then?
Yeah, hopefully it'll come soon, because some of it's still on order from Games Workshop, so I don't know when it'll actually arrive, but hopefully. Yeah, I'll get all the stuff sort of built and painted that I've got, because I've got some of it already, and then bang through the stuff that's on order. Fingers crossed.
Scott's going to be sharing lots of work in progress, I
Yeah.
imagine, over the next 4 weeks.
Yes. What about yourself? What have you done this month?
Not enough. Not enough.
Not enough.
He's deeply concerned. Not enough. I bought all the Sinesh stuff, which I think I was buying when we were filming the last video. So I think I talked about it, but some of it I had, some of it I hadn't. But I've got the lot now. So there's quite a bit, and some of it I have got done over Christmas. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take a break from stuff I have to do, and I'm going to do some stuff that I'd really like to do, which was Sinesh Warriors of Chaos. So I also managed to melt my Sigvald base. So
Sigvald moulded scenic base.
Had to order another one of those from a reputable bits locator and sort that out. So that was upsetting. But working on wise, I've converted my Demon Prince out of Big Vald, out of the new Sigvald model, and got him sort of put together. So the green stuff on him's done. I've bought a lot more stuff to keep converting the Slaneshi Juggernauts.
Yeah.
That makes sense, Slaneshi Juggernauts.
Yeah, Scott picked the stuff up for me last weekend and he didn't bring it with him. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, my bad.
I'm also waiting for parts to come because I've ordered like loads of Hellstrider legs, which I'm going to use with the sort of Myrmidesh Pain Bringers, and the sort of bodies and legs all marry up to make some quite heavily armoured guys. I imagine we'll get some shots of them on the social media soon because I've got some.
When I eventually remember to bring the box.
I've got a couple put together out of spares, so it's just waiting for all the other parts to come. I've ordered a ton of cool basing stuff. I found that you can get all these bright coloured tufts. I'm like, hey, I am in. So I've ordered loads of that stuff. I've ordered loads of like these little crystals to put on the bases, and we're going to go sort of snow, frozen north stuff. So quite a bit. I've almost done it. I've almost built the army.
I've almost done it.
I've almost built it. Almost. I've built at the time of filming 5 Hellstriders, 5 Marauder Horsemen, which have got quite a lot of kit bashing on them as well. 2 of the 8 Juggernaut proxies, which I'm going to call Hellseekers of Slanesh, I think I've decided, as opposed to Hellstriders of Slanesh. So Hellstriders and Hellseekers seems good. So I built 2 of them, and I've
Chariots.
done 1 chariot, but I'm sort of painting the chariots as I construct them. So there has only been 1 done. I've done all the
Warriors.
No, I've done half the Warriors.
I'm trying to help.
I have started on the Warriors filler. I've done all my Slangor Trolls, which are coming up good. So I am sort of building, and you guys would have seen relatively few weeks ago now the initial fruits of my Slaneshi labour. I put some bits up, and I'll put some of the kind of grey plastics up for the conversions, I think, as well, going forward. That might have happened before you guys see this. I don't. We'll have to see when how and when that lines up well with these conversations. But it's not the only thing. I've been sorting out dwarves, so I've got some more Thunderers done to get onto the channel.
Nice.
And I'm sort of getting into dwarf mode now, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I built the last of the Empire to go over to Warpaint Mini, so shout out to Liam, and make sure you head over to their Instagram, Warpaint Mini, and check out what they're doing, because there's lots of updates there on our project with them as well. But that's coming to fruition now. It's the last few bits of infantry that are going up, or have gone up by the time this comes out. So hopefully, we don't know, but hopefully in the next few weeks we might get that back, because we're quite excited. So I've done quite a lot of hobby. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually is, because I've spent loads of time messing about with the conversions on the cow stuff, so it does eat up a lot of your time. And doing the Empire, sorting out the dwarf stuff, it's all just silly things like building trays, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. It all swallows up your time, mate. So I've got lots of hobby to do next month. I'd like to get the rest of the Slanesh built, and a considerable chunk of it starting to get painted, because I would like to take it to Holmfirth. Because I would have took vampires, but
I'm now going to wipe away the Chaos Dwarf imaginary counter, put the Chaos Warriors imaginary counter up on the board now. How many of those you need? How many times are you going to mention those in every this month of Warhammer?
So I would have took vamps, but we don't like to take all the sort of same factions. We like to sort of mix it up. So, but honestly, that would just depend on how quickly I can get it done. Alongside like the other hobby commitments, and this thing called life and adulting. That really is it for me. Is if I can, I'll need to sort of by mid end of Feb, I should know if that's feasibly possible. So maybe by the next episode, I'll be able to tell you guys if I'm going to get them done for Humphrey.
Yeah, because we've got to submit the list. I think it's first weekend of March, isn't it?
It's in March, yes, and that's
March.
That's the
4
concern.
weeks before the event.
Yeah, so then it will be first week in March. So that's the concern, because I need to be far enough along the painting and basing journey
to be confident.
I can get the rest done, because I'm not going to bring not painted stuff.
You can take an unpainted army to Holmfirth. Your opponent gets H against your entire army.
Yeah, it's hatred unpainted units, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's not even the gaming disadvantage. It's just the fact that I really like to have
painted models.
Painted
and
finished
The
models.
perfectionist
Yeah.
in him.
and
How
I
very
like,
Sineshi.
how very synesthetic. Yeah, so we'll have to see how that bodes, and if I'm talking about a very different list for home. But next month, more Sinesh, more dwarves. You heard it here first.
Actually, you probably heard it like 2 months ago first.
Yeah, probably. So as those Empire come in, coming good.
Touche.
So we'll move on. Let's move on and have a little chat about all the sort of social media actions. So, been a very cool month for us, guys. We breached 500 followers on Facebook.
Woohoo.
And we've breached that by quite a bit now, actually. But it was a couple of weeks ago we breached it, and it's kind of then it tips along. So that's massive support. Thank you.
Yes.
But really, all I'm going to say is please keep telling your friends about us. Like, if you like our content, then you know, and you like to see me at the end of videos in a furry coat, in a terrible northern accent.
That will be retired soon, hopefully.
Yeah, we got to come up with a new one to keep it fresh. Then you know, please do tell your mates, tag your friends in the posts, share it, subscribe to us on YouTube. You know, get over and just help us keep the content going, really. And do email us, do messages. Again, if you are one of our subscribers, the numbers been growing really amazingly at the moment. Then send us over pictures of your figures for the Saturday showcase, because we want to show off your models. We want to share that hobby with those followers and the people that enjoy it. You know, that's why you guys follow us, because we bring you back that hobby. So if you've got a cool hobby, we want to share that with everyone. You know, because we don't always get a lot of cool hobby done.
No.
We are slow.
But seriously, Saturday Showcase, don't forget that. It's been an amazing month on the sort of social side of it. We're getting tons of support. So I think we're all very grateful.
Yeah. Just as James has said, just thank you. And keep liking, subscribing and sharing.
Yeah, please do that. We'll dress Scott up next time.
Yeah,
All those
I'm
in
not looking
favour of
forward to
dressing
that.
Scott up next time, raise your hand. That's upsetting for you.
It is.
Although
it
he's
is,
not
yeah.
in favour of dressing Scott up. Scott doesn't put his hand up. Scott's neutral.
2 hands? Does that count?
I demand a recount. In favour? It's 4 hands. It's a shocker.
Legs. Legs up.
You're wearing an outfit.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's anything, because my cheat sheet is painfully missing elements
we
this week.
do also always shout out the Champions of Destiny Facebook page.
Yeah, we do.
Just you
Let's
know,
do that.
it's a really good sort of community on Facebook, set up by Mark Pete, who we always give a big shout out to. And it was actually him that organised the Warhammer World Invasion that we went to.
Yep.
He unfortunately couldn't attend due to sort of other issues, but always sort of arranging things on there. He runs his own events. If you ever want to find any events, more sort of specifically in the UK, make sure you head over to that Facebook page. They're all advertised on there. If you want to, arrange games with people all over the country, if you're gonna, want to find people in your local area, want to find you're going to be down somewhere for a week or a weekend or something, you want to get a game in, put it on there. You'll almost certainly find someone in that area.
It's a super supportive place.
Yeah.
It really is. The amount of great hobby advice, the amount of, even silly things. I saw a conversation on there the other night about base sizes.
Yeah.
Like, what base size is this meant to go on? And it's like 20 people are like, it goes on this size base, mate. You can get some of this size from this place or this place. You're like, that's awesome, isn't it? Like, that's what it's all about. So,
any hobby questions you have about anything, that's the place to go to.
Very cool place, and we're very active on that group as
Yeah.
well. Usually Scott, because he's probably the most active social media wise. It probably goes in like a nice gradation along these chairs, doesn't it? To least active social media person.
Yeah.
I'm not social. Let alone social media, I'm just not social.
Help us to make Max social. 1 like, 1 subscribe, and 1 share.
No.
So I'm gonna drag us forward then into having a little gloss over the Warhammer news. A lot of stuff that we normally mention in this section we've kind of intersected elsewhere, because we talked about like the Warhammer World Invasion and stuff.
Yep.
Now Cardiff Crusade, there's been a bit of an update to that event, and we like to try and bring you guys information for events in the UK or events that we're going to try and attend. Now the date for Crusade has been changed. Now the date I have here is the 11th and 12th of June. So that is, I think there was a quick change and a change back because it was going to clash with another event.
It was going to be the 11th and 12th of July. I think it was going to be sort of 4 weeks later, essentially, and then they've moved it back to June.
11th and 12th of June. So it's sort of shifted back. Now I think at the moment it's slated up for 48 players. They have sold about a third of the tickets, I think, off the top of my head. But again, this could be very different by the time the video comes out because time does pass. Now they have made some big changes as well. So they've changed their event pack quite a lot. Now I've got some notes here from Chris. So this is a conversation that we had with Chris, the organiser, to get this down. So this is sort of, if I've got any of this wrong, I'm sorry, Chris. But I think pretty much this is exactly sort of where it's at. So they've decided now they're going to use the Triple Crown GT comp. So they're not going to change any of that. So the roll call comp system you find on our website in the download section, that's going to be what they use. Obviously it's in their pack now transposed in. They aren't going to use, if you're looking at the Triple Crown GT pack, they're not using our sports, they're not using our paint, and they're not using our missions.
No, the painting is very similar, but it's ever so slightly different. But yeah, the sports and the missions
and then they've got their own sports and their own missions. So that's 11th and 12th of July. It's in...
11th and 12th of June.
June, thank you. 11th and 12th of June, thank you. And that's at Firestorm Games in Cardiff.
Yes.
In their big gaming centre there. Very cool venue. Very cool.
Very
venue.
nice
lovely.
venue.
Yeah.
And I know that it's a not doer for you because you're sort of...
I'm on holiday the week
Personal
after,
life.
I think it is, yeah.
But I know we've sort of had a chat and we're going to see what we can do. I work a lot of weekends in June and July, as Scott well knows, because he comes and works with me. And again, once you factor in our filming schedule as well, because we all sort of have real jobs. We definitely have said we'd like to try and get there, but we can't make any kind of promises. So, if you were thinking, I'd love to go, but if the Triple Crown guys are not going, that would be great. At the moment, we're not going, but we're going to see if we can come, so we might disappoint you.
Like so many other things, we may disappoint.
But
we try our best.
I'm sure it's going to be a cool event, and I haven't had a chance to read the missions yet. I know
I had a glance at
you've
them
had a glance at them
this morning when we're filming it. Yes.
But yeah,
the pack should be out by the time.
Yeah, it should be comfortably out by the time it's been released. Yeah, so
you've all had a chance to look.
And also thanks to Chris and the team for sending us over to get a quick look at the sort of lion's share of it. The mission's the only thing I didn't get a chance to take a look at, but I know you said you'd had a glance, so I thought we can, between us, we can piece the magic together. So again, really cool, and hopefully that'll work out well. 48 players is a great event size as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's really the main cut and thrust of newsy things at the moment.
Yeah.
There's not a lot in the offing because the next section we're going to talk about would be news, but it's like a big discussion.
It's its own section.
It's its own section this month. So
yeah.
Am I missing anything, chaps?
Not that I can remember. No.
This is
I
why
don't think so.
Dream team.
And the page.
Flicks page is upside
down. So that brings us on to this month's big discussion.
I'm going to grab my laptop.
You are. This is what's really cool about having the... Do we have the timestamps on this video?
No,
videos?
not this one.
We should get some timestamps on these videos. So you can just skip to the big discussion. So this month's big discussion is about our event, Derby Deathmatch. Now the event is taking place... This is why I said July, so I just want to stress. Cardiff Crusade is on the 11th and 12th of June. And the Derby Deathmatch event, 2022... is on the 16th and 17th of July, which Scott's got on his screen in front
Nice and
of
big.
him. Nice and large.
Zoomed in for him so he doesn't get it wrong.
I've got it here.
So you got June there and you've still got that wrong.
Shut up. So we're going back to Boards and Swords Hobby in Derby. Now I know this is a hugely popular venue in the 8th edition community. The guys get a great rap. Rob and Ian up there are two absolute legends. So they... something that we probably didn't publicise as much as we should have last year was that they really stepped in for us at the last minute and helped us to rearrange last year's Triple Crown GT.
Yeah.
They made the event really comfortable and really easy to get sorted out. And
yes.
That is probably, from an event organising point of view, I think that's the nicest thing you can say about a venue, is they made everything so easy to get sorted.
Yeah.
And they made it so cool. And then when we got up there, it was just a super professional venue. Everything's set up.
Yeah.
You got all the space you need. They've got snacks and drinks on site, and you got staff there that are really supportive and that want to do the right thing by the gamers.
Because obviously we're based down in Essex. This is up in Derby, so we didn't get a
150
chance.
miles away.
We didn't get a chance to go up there before the event. I'd been up there to an event a year or two before.
Yeah.
Well, 2 or 3 years before. So I'd been there once, but we didn't actually get a chance to go up there and sort of arrange anything, sort anything out. So it was all done sort of over the phone, emails, that sort of thing. But when we got there, it was, as James was saying, everything was set up, everything was ready for us to just, throw some of our terrain on the tables. And yeah, it was the easiest Friday night setup.
Yeah, they made our whole weekend easy.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
Legends. So massive shout out to the team. Massive shout out to the venue.
Yeah.
This is a great place to go and play Warhammer.
It
And if
is,
you're in
yeah.
the Derby Midlands area, it's worth travelling to. I'd say. Because it's very cool, and there's a real thriving 8th edition community in and around that area already, which is excellent.
Yeah, and the good news, if you're travelling further, there is a Premier Inn, Travel Lodge, just across the road.
Yeah, and it's, is that the one that was overlooking the cricket ground?
It is.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, cool. We go to so many of these
I
things.
think it's Premier Inn or Travel Lodge.
I think it's a Travel
Travel
Lodge.
Lodge.
I remember that.
Yeah.
We liked it. It was
But
it was a good place to stay, and was walking distance, which was like
Yeah,
ace. So now, when we were up there, we talked to the team and we were like, look, we really want to come back. You've been such a great venue. We've had such a good time. We really want to come back. But the GTs is usually a slightly larger number of players than the venue could accommodate. So we came up with this idea of running a totally new style of event and adding a third event to our event calendar, which was a big gulp of breath. I think we might do another one. So this is a new style that we've come up with for this year.
Yep.
We're quite excited for the Derby Deathmatch. So I'm going to I think as a team we're going to cover the stylistic changes from a standard Triple Crown GT.
Yeah.
So this is still a 5-game 2-day event. It takes place in Derby, as we said, over the 16th and 17th of July. I keep repeating myself, always good. 2,500 point games as well.
Standard.
So standard size that we like to run.
Yep.
But it's a bit of a mix up. So I'm going to make Scott's in a different place to me. So I'm going to skip down actually, and I'm going to help Scott out, and we'll move down logically through the position of the pack. That's probably better, isn't it?
Probably, yeah.
So it uses the Triple Crown GT comp. So if you've seen that, the plus or minus roll call system, it uses that system. None of the pluses or minuses are different for this event. However, your list must fall in a bracket. So your list can be as high as a +2,
Yep.
or as low as a -2.
Yep.
So obviously I'm the softer choice, apparently.
You're the softer choice, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Don't have to crush and terrorise. do I?
So you've got a 5 bracket, 6 dice cacophonic one. You've got a 5.
Ooh, from the hip.
You've got a 5-point bracket. If you can just pass me the resuscitation kit.
The defense.
To work in. So your list can be as soft as a +2 or as low as a -2.
Yeah.
Now, the reason we've done this is that we are changing the whole sort of scoring style for the event, isn't it, basically? So I'll let Scott read out some of the notes we've got in the pack, probably best.
Yeah, so at the Triple Crown GT, we use your comp score to determine your first round matchup, and we then add it or subtract it, depending on the number, from your final gaming score. So the tournament points you get over the 5 games. In the Derby Deathmatch, we'll only use your comp score to determine your first round matchup. That's all it will be used for. After that, forget about it. It doesn't matter.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
So, how that will sort of work then is because obviously the idea in Triple Crown GT is we add it or subtract it to sort of even out the gaming points that the armies get over the weekend. But in Derby Deathmatch, we're not using the 20-0 scoring system.
No.
We're going back to the standard 8th edition from the rulebook FAQ, not from the actual rulebook.
No.
From the rulebook FAQ, win, loss, draw. So 100-point difference. If it's within 100 points, 100 victory points, then it's a draw. If you score 100 or more than your opponent, then it's a win, and then a loss for your opponent.
Oh, classic.
Classic, back to the classic. Not from the rulebook, have to score double.
Double your opponent's victory
That
points.
basically never happens. We're using the rulebook FAQ. And you'll get 5 points for a win, 3 for a draw, and 1 for a loss. And then those added up over your 5 games will be your gaming score.
So you can get a maximum of 25 points at this event.
Yes.
So we don't. The reason for bracketing the comp should become a bit clearer now. Is to keep all those lists in a very similar sort of vein of kind of competitiveness, if you like, so that you haven't got that guy that rocks up with the -10 Alariel White Lions, 3 Frost Arts, rocking out against that guy that brings
the tree man Wood Elf army.
The 5 tree man list. Can you do 5? No, probably 4.
4, I think.
I reckon you get 4.
Yeah.
But excuse me, you'll hiccup them. So that's really important. Now, Scott mentioned about the missions, so I think we'll segue to the missions. So we're playing 5 of the main rulebook missions at this event.
Yes.
So you're going to play missions 1 through 5. So that's, I'll just do it off the top of my head now. Battle Line, Dawn Attack, Battle for the Pass, Blood and Glory,
get them in order.
and Meet and Engagement.
Well done, you got them in
That is
order.
the order. I've not looked at that book too many times. Now, there's a couple of things to bear in mind. The victory scoring for Blood and Glory is based on fortitude points. If you've read the rulebook, you'll know how that works. So that's how it will be scored. If you break your opponent's army, the game will end. So there's no sort of victory points for working out the win, loss, draw.
Like there is in the GT. No.
We have got some caveats in there in case someone auto loses.
Yes.
They'll still auto lose, but you do still.
You will have a game.
You will still want to play that game of Warhammer. Yeah, it's quite important. So you get that gaming score possibly out of 25 if you can win all 5 of the games. Now, you're not going to play those 5 missions in order, I should probably point that out too.
Not necessarily, no. I mean, you might.
You might, I suppose. But we'll roll at random to see which one you play when. So I'd be absolutely staggered if you played them in missions 1 to 5 order. It's
Now watching like 7 months' time.
Possible.
Yeah.
7 months' time now, you're going to get it.
Yeah, probably. So
very sort of a la the old Warhammer World events where they did the same thing.
Yeah, with the big dice at the beginning.
Yeah, the big foam dice.
The big went to those, yeah.
There you go, I chucked that.
So yeah, really excited, and then we'll have tie breaks basically to decide your final standings in the event. So you'll play on TPs, which is a maximum of 25. Underneath that, you'll do your sports score as the first tie break, which we'll explain in a minute. You'll then get your paint score as a third tie break. And the final tie break will be victory points that you kill of your opponent's army. So these are all important things, and they all those other tie breaks are also used for awards as well. So whilst this is really a much more gaming focused event, the tie breaks will mean that you need to think about all those other elements too.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're going to find yourself, a lot further down the pecking order than you'd like to be. After all, there are mathematically 2 people that can win 5 out of 5 at an event of this size.
Is it 2? It's only 2.
It's only 2. But that means that those tie breaks are very important.
Yeah, it could be very important.
Particularly for the standings beyond like first and second.
Yeah.
Like third place is going to be a spicy competition.
Yeah, because you can get a lot.
There's a lot that can win 4. Yeah. So it's going to be quite tight. I'm quite excited about that. So on to sportsmanship. I think it might be easier if we just read that whole section out.
Yeah.
That might be the easiest way to explain it.
I'll do that. I've got the pack in front of me. So, at the end of each of your games, we'll ask you to award your opponent a sportsmanship points. Now, you won't be doing this sort of at the table in front of your opponent because we've heard from the community at large that generally sometimes you can feel a bit uncomfortable if the game wasn't very enjoyable for you. You can feel a bit uncomfortable marking down. So we'll have our sports bar. I think we've called it in the pack.
Not a real bar.
Not an actual bar. Just a place.
Just an area.
Yes. Just a place.
Just an
where
area.
you go away from your table and you can mark down your score before you give it to us, and you'll score your opponent from 0 to 3 for each of your games, which means maximum you'll score 15 points across the 5 games. If all of your games, your opponents find them all enjoyable. So 0 points is for deliberate cheating. Now it's worth saying we very, very, very rarely get any instances of this at any of our events.
I think we've run 14 or 13 or 14 over the years, and I can count on maybe 2 occasions that we've had someone deliberately cheating. People make mistakes. You call a judge, the judge comes over, he irons it out. If I'm called over 3 times for the same player at 3 different games, then I'm like, that's deliberately cheating. I'm going to deal with that. But I mean, it is so rare, particularly in the 8th edition community now, because people really care about each other's kind of.
People enjoy the game, they just want to have a good time, generally.
Absolutely.
It's also worth saying, if you do think your opponent is cheating, deliberately or not, the first thing you should do is always call one of us over.
That's
call a judge
literally
over.
What we're here
in
for.
the middle of the game, doesn't matter, take 2 minutes, 3 minutes, even if it takes 10, call us over and we'll sort it out there and then.
Absolutely.
But 1 point for sportsman. So this is for an unenjoyable game. So no cheating, but it just wasn't enjoyable. Your opponent didn't make it enjoyable.
Wasn't as fun as it could be.
Yeah. 2 is for a sort of an average game, nothing particularly enjoyable or not enjoyable.
Just, it was alright.
Yeah. And then 3 is for an enjoyable game, as it should be. As we all hope they all are.
Me using Skaven, Max using Wood Elves, loads of fun.
Max is not sure about that.
I feel like I would give that game a 3 and Max would give it a 2.
Yeah.
Our till game in recent memory gets a 2. Or 1 from me, if I'm honest.
But yeah, so hopefully we'll get loads of people, everyone hopefully, on 15 points at the end. But, you know, it's there to sort of encourage people to
do the right thing.
Give enjoyable games to their opponents. In addition to this, each player will get 1 favourite game vote, and they can use that to vote for their favourite opponent of the 5. And then for each vote you receive, you'll get an additional point on top of your sportsmanship points, so effectively up to a maximum of 20 overall.
Yeah.
The nice guy Nick points.
I genuinely can tell you now, last year at the Triple Crown GT, we had 3 guys that had got 3 favourite game votes and maxed the scoring on sports points as well.
Yeah.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, let's be real, that's incredible.
Yeah.
We're all nice guys.
I mean, it says here, to be fair, in the pack, most sporting is always a hotly contested award.
It really is.
And it really is. It really is. But yeah, so that is the sort of sportsmanship score and how you score that. Painting. Should I just move on?
Yeah, because painting is your second tie-break point.
Yes.
So it's worth bearing in mind.
Yeah, so it doesn't add to your sort of TP score at all at Derby Deathmatch, but it is the tiebreaker, and there is an award for it as well. So it's definitely worth considering.
Paint your figures.
Yeah. And I think I'm right in saying this works exactly the same as it does.
It's exactly the same
GT.
as we use at Triple Crown GT.
Yeah. So it's scored out of 10, but there are essentially 3 questions that we'll ask about your army. Is it fully painted and based, including painted movement trays?
Grey movement trays, not the one.
Does the army have a consistent theme? So it's all sort of painted in the same livery, it's all based the same, that sort of thing. And does it have an awesome centrepiece? So each of those are worth 3 points, and if it's yes to all 3, you get the additional point on
bonus
top
point
to score you the 10.
Yeah.
And that will, as we said, it won't add to your score, but it will act as a tiebreak.
Yeah.
We've also got the sort of best painted award. So for players who have fully painted their own armies, then you can display it for best painted judging on the Sunday lunchtime. Not Saturday. And we'll select the one that we feel is the sort of the best of the best.
Yeah.
And they'll win the best painted prize.
Always, I mean, the last few years has just been, the standard's been incredible.
Yes, yeah, it really has.
So,
and actually, we often go to the venue because we often can't pick between us. So we
Yeah,
often
we
go to the venue
them.
and say, actually, which one do you
think? Yeah.
Yes.
So some amazing stuff that gets in there now.
Yes.
So we've covered kind of how your missions are going to work for this. It's quite different. We've covered your win, loss, draw, how your army's built, and we hope that we've addressed those legitimate concerns that some people have about scoring sportsmanship as well.
Yeah, because I think we've all, like, I can certainly talk for myself. I've definitely been there at not necessarily Warhammer Fantasy events, but definitely sort of Warhammer World events.
Oh yeah, I know the exact 40k event you're talking about. The 2 inch. Yeah.
Where you just feel uncomfortable.
Now I remember.
You just feel uncomfortable marking your opponent down. Now I will say I did mark him down again. But I've had other instances where it wasn't a terrible game. My opponent didn't do anything that made it particularly a bad experience. It just, there wasn't that sort of
the zing sparks.
Yeah, there wasn't that joking about things. There wasn't that, like, accepting that sometimes it's just bad luck on the dice. And, that just makes it a bit less enjoyable. And we feel like the sportsmanship should reflect that, but we don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable marking someone down in front of them, which is why we've got that. We're going to have that area where you can go to away from your opponent. It's probably 15 foot long.
That's quite long, yeah.
So you can, you get away from your opponent, you each mark it separately, and then give us fold the bit of paper that we'll give you, and then give us the scores. No one has to know.
Unless you really don't care about your opponent knowing, you're like, yeah, there you go.
Look, if
don't do that.
But look, if you are happy with the game, feel free to write a number 3 on your piece of paper at the table. We're not going to force you to go to the sports bar, but it's there if you want to use it.
Yeah. That's the idea.
Yeah.
So now there's plenty of prize support at this event as well, and that goes in sort of alongside the plenty of awards at this event. So there are six awards at this one. So we've got the top three, third, second, first, as winners of the deathmatch. We've also got Bloodiest General, so that's going to be the person who scores the most victory points. So I've got a good feeling that will be a very different winner to the person who's going to win the deathmatch overall.
Yeah, I think there's certainly a lot of opportunity for it to be someone different.
It very often is. I find those guys, the guys that play very consistently and tightly and that want to kind of get the top spots, they don't take risks. Whereas I think those guys that do take risks, they don't always get the payoff, but they do kill a lot of enemy figures. Yeah. So I'm quite excited about that. So there is still, awards out there for smashing up your opponent big style. If that's your hobby, you like killing lots of figures, there is still an award for that. It's just not the first, second and third place award.
Yeah.
And then, as Scott said, best painted army and most sporting player. Scott's going to go through the prize support that goes alongside that.
I am. So first place, you're going to get a trophy, and you're going to get £30 of Boards and Swords gift vouchers. Now I'm pretty sure, before I go for the rest of the awards, you can use those online. You don't have to use them on the day.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, because you get like a plastic bit, like a credit card sort of sized card, like a gift card, and I'm pretty sure there's a code on the back that you can put into the website and use it online. So you don't have to, if you're not from the area, you don't have to use it on the day. But obviously, you are more than welcome to. So second place, you get a trophy and £20 of Boards and Swords vouchers. Third place, you also get a trophy and £10 of Boards and Swords gift vouchers.
There's a lot of trophies.
A lot of trophies. Bloodiest General, so the person who kills the most victory points, or scores the most victory points, you get a trophy, again, and £10 of Boards and Swords gift vouchers. And then Best Painted and Most Sporting get a trophy each and £20 of Boards and Swords gift vouchers each.
So being a nice guy and having a painted army are worth it.
Yes.
They are, other hair care brands are available, I guess, I should say. That's really the ins and outs. The pack will be released on the 28th of January, Friday the 28th. So the same kind of, this is going to be the kind of par for the course shape of the way we release packs now. Yep. So it's the weekend before we release tickets, and it's the Friday night. That gives you the whole weekend to take a look, digest, and then you've got a week to think about lists and things like that as well. Yep. I really like that idea. It seemed to be really well received when we did the GT, the May event. So the Friday the 28th of January, that will come out.
Which is next Friday, if you're watching this when this comes out?
No. Because it's the Friday after my birthday. It's 2 weeks from basically a week and a bit from the weekend this comes out.
It's coming very soon. Friday the 28th of January.
A week on the Friday after this comes out.
This is the thing, I think it's right between this video and the next one of this video. Now, tickets will go on sale on Saturday the 5th of February, as we said, so sort of 8 days later. The following Saturday at 7 p.m. for Night of the Realm subscribers, and they'll be available on our web store. And then Sunday the 6th of February at 7 p.m. we'll go for a general release on our web store. So if you're not a subscriber, or rather if you're not a paid subscriber, you'll have to wait an extra 24 hours to have a stab at your ticket.
It's worth saying as well, because I know we got a lot of questions about this for the GT ticket release. If you're going for the Night of the Realm tickets, you don't go to the standard store. There's a link to the store in the top left of the website, I think it is. You don't go there. You go on to your Night of the Realm mustering ground, which is the sort of members-only area. And there's sort of different squares, which are links to the different types of videos. There will be a square for the store, the Night of the Realm store. It will be in there that you can buy your Night of the Realm.
So you need to go to the exclusive store, if you like, rather than the standard store.
Yeah.
It literally just has the tickets in it earlier. That's the only difference. Yeah. But it's worth pointing out as well, and I am going to say it as pluggy as it might sound. There are only 34 tickets to this event.
Yes, there are.
That's the venue's capacity. So
it's not a big event.
It's a good size event. It's a nice number of players, but it's not huge. There's not going to be tons of these now.
And there's no sort of option for us to increase that. We've not limited it because we don't think the tickets sell. We're using every table.
Yeah, the capacity.
Boards and Swords.
It's the same with the GT. I've a few people say, can you up the capacity? We can't. That's the size of the venue.
It's the size of the hall.
That's it. So it's worth pointing out that with the Triple Crown GT, we sold every ticket bar one in the first 24 hours.
Which then sold within 2
Yeah, it
minutes
was
of
like
it
1
going
minute
on general
past 7 or
release.
2 minutes past 7 on the Sunday. We were sold out. So, and that had 10 more tickets than this event.
It did.
So I think if you really want to go to this event, because it sounds up your alley, a bit of win-loss draw, something different. You might be a bit more local to you if you're from the sort of Midlands or northern part of England. You know, you probably do want to think about grabbing a subscription and just checking that out, because it's I don't know, no one might buy it, but but if it's anything like the last one, it's worth bearing that in mind. Now tickets are £30 for this one, and you get lunch on both days. So not too bad, and lunch is pizza.
Lunch is pizza.
If you went to the GT last year, it was like the little mini pizza.
You get a personal pizza.
Little personal pizza.
Personal Pizza Hut pizza.
Domino's.
Domino's, sorry, not Pizza Hut.
Other pizza brands are available.
It could have been Papa John's, who knows?
Not that one.
And that's it. So
Yes.
the rest of it, you'll see. You'll be able to really digest it properly yourself when you take a look at the pack. Don't want to labour too much, but we just thought we'd point out the differences and tell you when you can get your tickets. And so that just leaves us to have a look at what you can expect in the next 4 weeks.
Just
from all
before you go on to that, I was just going to say, actually, I think the different sort of style of the scoring in this event, I think will lead to a lot of different types of armies getting further
That
up,
is a very good point, actually.
the sort of draw. So, because most, if not all, events, especially competitive events for fantasy at the moment, use the 20-0 scoring system, which makes sense. It's a really good way of scoring competitive events.
Of gradating your success, isn't it? Yeah.
But there are some armies that just don't really do as well in those scenarios, in those terms.
Yeah.
They certainly can do it. They just struggle. Dwarves, wood elves, even vampires. Now, vampires are probably more on the cusp than the other two.
Speak for yourself.
but generally, vampires are really good at getting sort of 13s or 14s. They struggle to get the big 20s.
Toonies also struggle.
I think one of the reasons we talk about like certain armies being really powerful is because they're very good at scoring big.
Yes.
And that's where the 20-0 shines in. And I think that, like you say, a lot of those armies that are seen as maybe the less powerful armies, your ogres, your tomb kings, your lizards, the ones you've already mentioned, they're going to find that win-loss draw
Skaven
is a big bump for them.
It's armies that can hold on to their points while also eking out points over their opponents.
Like Wood Elves are a really good example, and I think probably the best or easiest way to explain it or to explain why, is because Wood Elves are really good at not committing any of their units if they don't want to. You can build a completely movement 9+ Wood Elf army if you want.
Certainly can.
And it's a total nightmare.
Even if you don't, you've got 625 points that sits at the back in units of 10 archers. Which, you can probably score that 625, or you can probably score 725 points back, which is all you need to do to win in this scenario. Whereas in 20-0, that's only a draw. You need to score at least 200 points more to get a very small win.
I think dwarves are the one for me that stand out at this event.
Yeah, they're very good at not dying, and you just cannon a big monster.
They get a point off of the artillery, a big hit, or they get that one. But where they don't actually, kind of weirdly, they should do really well in the protracted grind. But a lot of their units end up falling a bit short in that because they're painfully quite well balanced for their points. The dwarf units individually, so I think you find that they're quite good at sort of getting a 12-8.
Yeah.
But actually, like that's as good as getting a 20-0
Doesn't
for
matter.
Derby Deathmatch. So I agree with you. I think there's going to be a lot of those armies that can suddenly do quite well, and also they're not hit as hard on the comp.
No.
Those armies are not going to have to make as many concessions to get in that 5-point comp bracket as a high elf army or a dark elf army or
Warriors.
a demons or even warriors to an
Warriors,
extent. Yeah. So I think that makes a big difference because those lists will feel actively held a little bit
by the restrictions.
in the bracketing.
Yeah.
But maybe dwarves, wood elves, empire, another one that can really do well there. So
Lizards.
yeah, I think it's going to lead to a really different feel to the event overall. And like you said earlier, I think it's channeling the Warhammer World vibes. I really do. I really like that. Bringing it back.
I've always liked win-loss draw, mostly because I had a Wood Elf army at the time. But I've always liked the idea of it, and I always wished more events would run it. Because it does make it a bit different to your sort of normal games. Because even when we're not playing on the channel, if we're just playing down our local club, we always play 20-0.
We almost always use the compact to be honest, don't we? Because
we basically do just play from the comp.
It's a bit of a universal language. You can be like, well, what sort of game do you want?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'd like quite a hard game. Well, you know, what we're saying, like, should we go for, you know, a -2, -4? Yeah, that sounds good. I'll have that, you know. Or actually, could we have, like, a bit of a fun game? Well, you know,
like a +6.
What's a good way of working out what a fun game is for everyone? Well, if you all like the pack and you all, you know, use the pack, you're like, well, we'll just make sure the list is like above +5 then or something. You know, and I know that when we talked to, I did an interview a while ago now with Alan Bennison and the guys over at Toy Soldier Tales. Haven't plugged them for a while. How you doing, Al? Winner of last year's Triple Crown GT as well, Alan Bennison, and
friend of the show,
friend of the channel, But yeah, I mean, we had a chat, and he was saying to me a very similar thing, that for him it's like a bit of a common language, him and his gaming group, where they'll go, well, you know, shall we all agree on a -4 list this weekend? And so everyone feels like they're around that sort of
and they've got a fair chance, because there's nothing worse than you know, bringing your fun all goblin army, which I know all goblins can be very competitive, but you know. Your fun orcs and goblins army, no fanatics, none of the manglers, just dozens of goblins.
400 forest goblins.
Yeah. and then you come up against Wall and Urgo, and you're like, oh well. This is over.
That's upsetting.
Yeah. But you know, like Anna said, if you agree at even just a small comp bracket, like it has to be bigger than a +3.
Yeah, or say a small comp bracket like +2 to -2. Or that.
Then you're all gonna have, you know, you're gonna hopefully feel at least like you're on an even footing going into that game.
Yeah, so I think that was a really good point to bring up, actually. Yeah, I'm really excited about this event. Genuinely love the idea of doing something new, and it means we've got 3 different scoring events as well. We've got the GT classic 20-0, you know, hardcore to the floor scoring.
Let's go.
You know, then you've got the Derby Deathmatch, which is this kind of win-loss draw with the sort of tie breaks decided by sports and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you go to the narrative event, which we haven't announced the name of yet because we're still playing on the channel. We do know the name though. And you know, that event is very much well, actually, you win and lose based solely on the missions.
Yeah.
There's no real sort
Doesn't matter how much you kill, generally.
Yeah. And most of those missions, if you've seen watching the playthroughs of Light of Albion, you know, there's been some games where one of us has been absolutely trashed. And actually, the mission score is still on a knife edge until the end of the game. So I really like that as well. There's something for everyone across those 3 missions, I like to hope. So I hope you guys...
those 3 events, you mean, not missions.
Those 3 events, I hope you guys are as excited as we are. And hopefully we'll be talking to you guys next month about... you know, how it's how the ticket sales have gone, and everyone's kind of really excited. So fingers crossed. But now I'm going to do what I was going to do.
Yes. Now I won't interrupt you.
So what can you expect in the next month? Well, quite a lot, as we discussed earlier. A lot of content. So the Orcs and Goblins are finally going to make their full debut on the War Council this month. They're going to drive a green tide through Bretonia. So we'll find out if the scions of Gilles Le Breton can prevail against the Emerald Horde. Quite pleased with the evocative language I used there.
So now it makes sense why I painted Orcs and Goblins.
Yes, it does.
Now it does make sense.
Thanks, mate. So we're going to bring you the 5th and final instalment of the Light of Albion campaign, and it promises to be an epic conclusion as Thalandor Darkheart attempts to execute his grand plan against Be'lakor and the Demons of Chaos.
It's finally coming to an end.
Yeah,
I learnt anything?
You've got to fight demons this month, mate. You up for that?
That as a no.
I'm excited though, because we did this event quite a few months ago now, but obviously we have the kind of the story time which you get on the videos, and we did that for real, and the end story time that we had for this one was genuinely shock on people's faces, wasn't it? There was genuinely parts of people like, what? I was like, yeah. So
you'll see there.
Yes. I was like a little Skaven. Yes. So honestly, we cannot wait to bring you the final story time with terrible voice acting from me and Paul.
As long as there's no French accents, I'll be fine.
Oui.
Bonsoir. So, Buying for Beginners is a cold affair this month as we trek to the frozen north in search of Warriors of Chaos army. So, as we've all been doing, like our gaming group's been Warriors of Chaos mad over the last few weeks.
I think there's 4 people
doing Warriors.
Everyone's jumped on my train.
Yeah.
Everyone on my train.
It's because they didn't think yours looked good enough, so...
They don't look good enough. Oh! I mean, I've been told many times by some people they don't look good enough.
He's sitting, but not when you're at events playing Scott. People come over and say how great your armies look, don't they?
The joy I get.
So
from
we're going to
that.
turn the heating off anyway, so he's nice and cool when he writes this one.
No, well, Scott's writing this one. I don't play Warriors Chaos, obviously.
So the Battle of Firemouth is this month's Warzone tale. A titanic clash between Urk Iron Skull's orcs. It's Urk. Don't look at me like that.
It is Urk.
And the Over Tyrant himself,
Not
Gracious.
the ogre tyrant, as you were calling
He is
him
also
earlier.
an Ogre Tyrant, but he is the Over Tyrant himself, Gracious Goldtooth. You won't want to miss this brutal beatdown.
To be honest, it is a brutal beatdown.
Yeah, it's a cool
It's a really
battle,
cool
actually.
battle.
We've also got an infamous villain as the focus of our Heroes of Legend tale this month. We're going to sit down as a group and have a chat about the Witch King Malekith.
One of the
So,
oldest characters in the setting.
Yeah,
to be honest.
he is.
He's one of the oldest.
He's certainly one of the oldest living characters in the setting, isn't he?
He's
Yeah.
8,000 years old, I think it comes around to.
Yeah,
roughly.
and he's still rubbish.
Oh, that's unfair.
Oh, come on!
He is bang average.
For Ulthwan. Is my response. So I'm going to return to my long 20-0 road through the laws of battle magic this month, and we're going to take a look to the stars for guidance, as I discussed the law of heavens in that snippet, which I'm quite excited about, actually. It's another one of those laws that you don't see
We've
too
spoken
often.
about it in depth recently.
It's got some good stuff there.
It's very good if you have a certain type of army, I think.
Yeah, and I think we'll cover that. So the first competitive character series of 2022 is one for the Zealots, looking at Scott. Sigmar be praised, Scott, as we take a look at the Archlector.
No, he needs to be Ulrich.
Sigmar. Sigma. Archlector. I'm quite excited. I think, again, Archlector's another great choice for an Empire army. So
He is the most competitive Lord
yeah, I
choice
think
he's
he's
taken.
really solid. Now, we're going to get ahead then with this month's Magic and the Mundane as we take a look at hat trick of enchanted items that you wear on your head. Told you it's my favourite for the puns. I almost missed out the hat trick. That's great. So it's 3 enchanted items that you wear on your head. I'm looking forward to that. And finally, something I'm not looking forward to is honour, glory, and the finest hours will await me and the team as we enter the holds of the mighty dwarves for this month's deep dive.
Honestly, the past 3 months has just been absolute just terror in James's voices. I don't want to do this deep dive.
Everyone's like, how's it coming? I'm like, good. So that's it. Plenty of content again.
Yep.
Really excited to bring it all to you. And really excited to see you guys at some events soon. Like, the long winter of no events is really rubbish, isn't it? Let's be honest. Like,
Gives time to get hobby done.
Thanks for joining us again in the studio and on YouTube, or if you've decided to watch this through triplecrownwargaming.com because you signed up, you're the real winners. And we'll see you all next time on This Month in Warhammer.
Bye, guys.
See you later.
Remember to tag your friends and like, subscribe and share. Then head over to triplecrownwargaming.com and become a Knight of the Realm today.
What are you doing, mate?
Are you alright?
Do